Hello and welcome back to the Survival Project. We're on episode number 31 and we're continuing work today here in our Panda Sanctuary. In the last episode, we sort of built up this entire little river here and done the cliff facing on this side. We made this nice simple little bridge here and we made this fallen tree, which I'm sort of coming to like quite a bit. It's not as bad as I first thought it was, so that's all good. In between episodes, I've done a little bit of work just laying out some grass and that, adding like a little bit of a cliff face in here, and I've extended this wall along. But what I've done, because I wanted to see what it looks like basically, is I've used the new warped block instead of the, what's this, dark prismarine. So originally, we were just going along with dark prismarine. I think it's used fairly commonly within Japanese builds on Minecraft for this sort of a wall or this sort of a structure. What I've done is swapped over this section here to use the new crimson block, and I actually really like the way that this looks. I'm not sure if I prefer it to that texture there. That looks obviously a lot more like a brick texture, whereas this is naturally just a sort of wooded texture. I do really like it though. I'm interested to know what your opinions on this are, so if you could drop a comment down below and let me know which one you prefer. Here is a pretty decent spot to look at them both next to each other. Basically, do you prefer the warped or do you prefer the dark prismarine? And yeah, we'll go from there as to whether I'm going to swap it all over or not. I kind of am swaying towards this warped look at the moment because a lot of the builds in this world are using wood rather than sort of stone textures. So in a way it makes a bit more sense, but I'm not too sure. It doesn't really matter if we're using a sort of bricked texture there. But yeah, it'd be interesting to know what you guys think about that. So for today's episode, what I actually want to do is get a little bit of work done over on this side. Now, I've been thinking about what I actually want to do with this, how I want to sort of approach it, and I'm thinking that I actually do want to build up some more like cliff facings and make this area a little bit more rocky. Something that's really important for us to do building this is make sure that there is no way for the pandas to escape, because if they do, then that is going to cause a big issue for me. Because I really don't want to travel off to another jungle to have to get more. I believe we can breed pandas. In fact, actually, I'm going to test that now and find out. So let's see. I'm sure if it's anything, it's going to be bamboo. So yes, we can breed them. That is fantastic. Did you create a cub? Did you not? It's kind of hard to tell. There's not much space there. And then they're just going to eat it like that. I really hope that these guys can be bred. It's actually really cute. That's the first time I've ever given them bamboo. Oh dear. Could be a bit of an issue if we can't actually breed them. Just make sure one's not just landed in here. Oh, make a baby. I'm going to have to look into that mechanic. Hopefully we can breed them. But yeah, as I say, we're going to work over here and I'm going to build up some sort of like mountain ranges, I suppose. They're not really going to be mountain ranges. I don't really want to get too much higher than what we've got going on over there. And I do want some of this to still be lower down, so I'm thinking like around this area here, if I get some of this swapped out for podzol, we can get like a nice little bit of a bamboo-y section going on over here, and then we can sort of start raising the terrain up again, and we're probably looking at the terrain coming back down at around about here, because I believe, basically what I've decided is the bridge is going to be coming off of here, and I might, well actually this is, oh, I pushed E. This is actually kind of a hard one. So I did say that I want all farmland to be on this side of the island, so would it actually make sense for the entrance to be there? I guess I could make a diagonal bridge from here and have this be an entryway. We definitely need some sort of a structure. I'm not going to be putting the vet building in like I said I would. I just don't really think it's going to suit this. I still need to find a way to close this off as well. So yeah, that's on my list of things to work out. I really need to decide where I want to put this bridge. Anyway, without wasting too much time, the mountain or rocky area, as I say, is going to come down to around about this point here, somewhere around here. So I'm going to probably get quite a large amount of work done here. And we'll start off with the bamboo, I think. So yeah, I'm going to get that bit done, and I'll probably start the planning for the mountain range. If anything interesting happens in between, I'll obviously jump back in and do a bit of recording. But for now, I'm going to get started on that. So just before I do get going, there's one more thing that I did want to mention. I've moved our beacon over here because I'm clearing out space underneath here to make a bit of a more robust storage system, because this place is such a mess and some of these are completely full to the brim. So we cut down a lot of spruce wood because we made all of this into podzol, which meant we were just growing so much spruce just to sort of get it laid out. Yeah, I'm here to get stone, but the real issue is all of this. Like, I don't even know what's in this storage system. I wind up making new things all the time unnecessarily because I just don't know what I actually have. Yeah, so that is a real issue, and I do need some spruce saplings, so that's kind of handy. See, I had no idea there was emeralds in the system there. Yeah, so basically I'm just here for stone and these saplings so we can sort of get started today. Anyway, that is enough of that. So a whole bunch of stone later and a little bit of grass. I've got this set up so far. Originally I did say I was going to come round a little bit further, but I'm thinking I might cut it down here. So we got a nice little bamboo forest that sort of leads over into this part here. Just sort of thickens the area out a little bit, gives us a little bit of variation from the outside, which obviously I think is very important. I've chucked a few bushes and that about the place. And yeah, as I say, this is our sort of cliff facing area. So you can get up from either side. And of course, this is going to start looking a lot better once we start adding a bit of texture variation and all of that sort of good stuff in. Once we sort of start naturalizing it, I suppose is a good way of putting it. So what I was thinking was down in this little gap that I've made here, I'm actually just going to fill it out with some bamboo. And when that comes up, it shouldn't really come too much higher. It'll come a little bit higher than this, but it should give us like quite a nice effect while we're actually up on this mountain. If anything, it just gives us something a little bit different to look at. This might be a little bit too Minecrafty, such a sort of sheer up, if you get what I mean. Could possibly do with cutting that back a little bit, but for now I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm going to basically just start doing a little bit of texture variation and see if some of these bits start to look a little bit better like that. Because I am finding this a little bit odd to look at, if I'm totally honest. It's a bit of a weird one. But, as I say... Oh, my elytra died. Yeah, I'm going to get that fixed in a sec. But, yeah, as I say, once we start getting all the variation in, everything should start looking a lot better. So I'm going to go get my elytra fixed up, and I'm going to start maybe adding in a few custom trees about the place, and yeah, hopefully then things should start to come together pretty well. I'm so used to flying around this island, it's actually a little bit weird walking through it to go and get my elytra fixed up. But it's nice at the same time. I might change these back to my lavenders because I think they did look a bit better. How have you gotten there? That's really strange. See, just little weird things happen every time you update from one version to another. But yeah, it's actually really nice to walk through and just look from the ground level at some of the stuff we built. Like this forest, I really love everything about this. I think it just come out really well. I did change this texture over like I kept saying I would, but I think I might even want to go a little bit darker on it than that, because that still looks a little bit too chocolatey to me. Maybe we just need to sort of like make it look a bit more worn. Like, maybe that's what the issue is, because look at these dark oaks, like, they look a little bit worn out, whereas that spruce texture was looking a little bit dry. Yeah, we'll have our Elytra back soon. This, I still stand by, is one of the best ideas I've ever had. A repair station, as opposed to building a giant gold farm in the nether. Perfect. Right, I'm gonna get a little bit of work done, and then we can have a little look. So I've just made a bit of a start on this now, so we've got all of the path blocks sort of in, scattered about, going about the place. The reason why I like using this for this area is because it kind of makes it look like the pandas have sort of been moving around. So not everywhere's going to be completely trampled, but also at the same time not everywhere's going to be perfectly pristine. So rather than doing this similar sort of mix up to what we did over there, where we was using cobblestone and andesite to mix in with the stone, what I'm actually going for here is using some of the mossy cobblestone, because I think that's going to create quite a nice little effect over here. There's just going to be a lot of greenery. We've got like a little flower bed up there as well, which is just lily of the valleys. I don't know whether that's going to stay or not, but at the moment I think it looks quite nice. I think that needs a little bit of a retexture so that the stalks aren't quite so green, but yeah, that's something to consider. We've got loads of ferns going on around here as well. Obviously, we're going to be putting in some custom trees and all of that sort of stuff as well. And we are going to be coming along with the bamboo and just getting a little bit of it about the place. Like, we don't need to go too mental with it on this build. But having a little bit scattered about the place should hopefully help it to look a little bit better as well. And we just destroyed a fern, which is actually a little bit irritating, but there you go. They're not the hardest things in the world to get hold of, I guess. Yeah, so we're just going to come around with some of this. Around the edges, though, we actually are going to have to get a load of this in. The reason I do this is because it stops the pandas from being able to escape, basically, which is obviously very, very important. We don't want to create a panda sanctuary just for them to be able to get out and run away. So, yeah, this was basically just a check-in to show you guys what I'm thinking with this. I may have gone a little bit overboard with the leaves at the moment. I'm thinking that, but once we get everything else in, it might not look as bad. So this is what I mean. Like, originally I thought the shape of this mountain was a little bit weird, but as I'm starting to add things in, I'm starting to sort of like appreciate the way it looks a bit more. So I'm just going to sort of keep going and hope I don't go a little bit too overboard, which I have been known to do from time to time. I actually want to bring a little bit of random bamboo out and about here, because I think that can help this area look like it's sort of coming out slowly, sort of thing. So actually getting some of the pods all about the place as well could help out with that. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do with this little area here. At the moment it's just a little bit open. I mean, obviously we could just do that. So I've been playing around here for quite a while now, just trying to sort of get the idea that I want out of it. And I actually think I'm going to stick with this sort of more stripped back version here. So rather than having like a load of trees and that going on as well up there, I'm actually going to keep it kind of open. And then this sort of area around here leading up to the little pond rivery area here, I think that's where we're going to sort of thick out with a load of trees. So it's going to be like you come from a really, really thick area and then you come out into like this nice almost open sort of cliff facing. Obviously there's a load of vegetation going on. We need to fix that because there's a load of gaps under there, but we'll get that sorted. I do need more of this mossy cobblestone, but I don't have any vines at the moment, so I'm going to have to go to our little vine farm and do a little bit of work over there just to get hold of a bit more. But yeah, I actually quite like it sort of being like this. We've got a lot of bamboo going around the edges and that, but it's basically just a load of vegetation minus all of the trees, and I actually quite like that look. So I think I am going to keep this bit like this. The other thing that I was thinking was originally I was going to build up a bit more of a mountain face and come round here a little ways. But what I'm thinking now is actually I might start reintroducing that wall that we've got over there, because at the moment the wall is literally just on one side, Now, we're going to have like a little bamboo foresty area there. So I think that actually reintroducing the wall on this side, just a little bit, maybe not too much. So maybe two segments. Each segment is 17 blocks wide in total. That's including the edge pieces that go up. So you get one edge piece, and then you get 15 of the sort of dark oak wood bits, and then one edge piece. So 17 in total. So yeah, we're looking at like 34 blocks coming out from there over to probably around about there somewhere. Um, and then depending on where we decide we're going to put this bridge, this is what's sort of really important here. We need to decide where the bridge is going. It could, in fact, actually, this could be a really good spot to put it. Yeah, we could either have the wall continuing all the way to the bridge, or we could figure out something else that's pretty cool to do. But yeah, I'm going to get this little wall section built up now, because that really doesn't take too long. It's quite a simple one. You know, I'm starting to think I might be one of the messiest Minecraft players going. Like, every time I fill up one of these chests, I wind up just making a new one and just starting all over again. Yeah, I just make such a mess of everything, no matter where I am. It's too much hassle to tidy up, I think. Anyway, walls. I've pretty much got this wall completely built out now. We're just missing some of the trapdoors and some of the little fence gates there. We've got none of the fence gates or trapdoors on the opposite side, so there is still a little bit that we're missing. But actually, I think that it looks okay over there. Like, let's land up on this Tory gate real quick. Or not. We can just do some of the worst flying that has ever been recorded. Yeah, I think it does work from there. And it's come all the way up to that point that I said about making the bridge from. So we've got some space here now that we can sort of play around with. What I'll probably do is try and make sure both of these sides are level so we can build a nice simple bridge. I'm going to have to cut into the land a little bit there. But this makes a bit more sense to me being here than being there if we're going to have farmland, because what I can do is just create like a through path that's going to lead all of the way around here and into the village and sort of go around the farms rather than through the middle of the farms, which makes a lot more sense. And I'm also really, really coming around to this warped block for the roof as opposed to the what's that? Dark prismarine. That's it. I'm really bad at remembering the name of blocks. But yeah, I do think that looks a bit better than that. Although from a distance they both pretty much look exactly the same, but it's certainly a cheaper way of doing it. The only problem is of course at the moment the warped block isn't really renewable. Like, you can find some of the fungus used to grow it about the place, but it doesn't drop any when you break the tree. So yeah, it is actually a finite resource at the moment. I don't know whether that's something that they're going to fix in the next snapshots or what, but here's hoping, because I am really running low on the stuff and I don't really want to load an entire nether just hunting around for it. I've still got a load that I can go and gather. It'd just be nice if we could have it a bit more renewable. Yeah, so I just need to finish this little bit off, and I think we're pretty much coming to the close of this episode. There's not too much more time that I've got left. Um, so yeah, to be fair, I might actually just do this in between episodes, just get that bit finished off. But yeah, this didn't quite wind up coming out the way I'd initially planned it to. Because originally, as I say, I was going to make it very much like this one, where we got loads of trees and that all about the place, but this is the great thing about this game. We can change our mind midway through and do things a little bit different. So this sort of little area here, we're going to start introducing a load of trees and that. I want to raise this up a little bit, but I kind of want to keep the terrain on the level it's at. So basically, we're just going to be getting some stone and that and just like raising the edge of the water up a little bit, because I don't like too much the way it is here, where it's just a flat surface straight into the water. I think it'll look a little bit nicer if we give it a bit of a lip and a bit of an edge, like we've got going on there, but not quite so high as that. So I'm probably thinking like 1.5 blocks of extra height on this, Obviously varying the height as we're going round and that. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I actually really love the way this looks, and again, once we get the fuller picture, I think this is definitely going to come into its own. It's going to be like a nice open area for you to sort of walk through after coming out of a nice dense woodland area. So yeah, a lot of this area here is going to wind up being covered in woods and trees, and yeah, just lots of really thick vegetation. So that should wind up being really good. I just need to make sure when I make these trees that the pandas can still get through. Anyway, now that it's turning to night, and with everything being said that's been said, I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and I will catch you guys in the next one.